Hello and welcome to another episode of Leo Interviews. Today we have Pete Vera with us.
Hey, Leo. Great to be here. I'm excited.
Yes, nice to meet you. Well, let's go ahead and get into it. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I'm originally from California, the Central Valley, and near Fresno. And I went to school in the Bay Area, UC Berkeley. My parents didn't have a ton of money left over. I'm the youngest of four.
Mm-hmm.
So I was finding a way to pay for college without, getting in hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. And I applied for a lot of scholarships. I ended up getting a full ride with the Navy. So I did the ROTC program at UC Berkeley and graduated there, and then did a career as a supply officer. So I did supply chain management and logistics for the Navy. And I was actually able to spend pretty much the whole time in Europe during that time. So I lived in Spain for a few years, and then that was on a ship, and also during COVID. So it was a crazy time. They kind of quarantined us on the ship for about 7 months during that period. And then most recently, I managed a warehouse in Sicily. So yeah, there was about 30 people I was put in charge of, and we supported the aircraft in Europe, the European theater, right during the Ukraine crisis when that kicked off. So it was an important mission. And I definitely learned a lot. And now that kind of influenced my career. Now I started a podcast called Exit Algorithms. We were just talking about that, where I interview entrepreneurs, business owners, like your dad, that have done great things, and just question them about how to grow and scale businesses. And my main thing is I'm in mergers and acquisitions. So we're building a national logistics company. So we're buying warehousing businesses and trucking businesses and combining them into a larger business to be able to, offer national logistics, transportation coverage. So like moving parts to where they need to be. Yeah. That's what I do now.
Yeah. I know that you have a YouTube channel, which people can go check that out. So viewers watching this, please go check out his channel, because it's pretty cool. It's just like mine, but I think his might be tiny bit better.
I don't know about that. But thank you. Yeah, I'd love to appreciate the shout out.
Yeah, of course. Tell me a little bit more, I guess, about, what you were doing in the Navy.
Sure. So, yeah, we'll start off on the ship, because it's a bit of a really unique experience. So, yeah, what I did was support the crew of about 300 people with food, with fuel to keep the ship running, supplies, parts, and just quality of life things as well. You have to have hygiene products, basically like a grocery store on the ship. Yeah, so all of those parts need to be coordinated to be moved from mostly the U.S., because that's where all the government contracts supply from. And they would ship them over to our ship in Spain. So tracking some of the parts, they're really important. They keep the ship running. So a lot of your time is spent just identifying those key parts and just giving updates to the captain. And then, I managed, it was a team, there was about 70 people there. that helped, work. I was the second in command on that ship within the supply department. And yeah, it's kind of like you do a couple years of one job, and then they move you, and then you do another couple years in a similar job, but like you do different things. So yeah, the second part was I was not on a ship. I was on land, and it was managing warehouses that housed all these parts. This is kind of a different end of the supply chain. So yeah, I had a warehouse in Sicily, and then in Spain and in Iceland, actually. So I got to travel and go see all those places a lot during the Navy. Learned a ton about leadership and management, and yeah, technical knowledge as well. So it was a good experience.
Yeah, I was like on an aircraft carrier type of ship, or
A good question. It was a small ship. It's called a destroyer.
oh, okay. Oh yeah, sure.
You familiar?
Yeah, I mean, I played tons of I forgot what it is. Battleship. So I think I know some of the pieces.
Oh yeah, yep. This littler one.
Yeah. It's just real tiny, just super tiny, but like enlarge it by a million times, and then it's real.
Yeah, exactly. The aircraft carrier, I was lucky enough to go on one for about a week. It's about up to 5,000 people on the ship, so it's like a floating city.
Yeah.
Versus my ship, which was only 300, so it's like, yeah, exactly, really small.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What was your biggest challenge, and how did you overcome it?
That's a great question. I think my greatest challenge was me kind of getting in my own way in terms of leadership and defining that barrier between, friends and like people that you're supposed to manage, and navigating that. So I think I learned some hard lessons at the beginning. I was kind of too friendly with people that I was supposed to be managing and telling what to do.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big hurdle. I eventually I got a lot better. It's hard though once you establish that relationship initially as friends, and then you try to switch to being a manager. It doesn't really work that well. So my second job, so how I overcame it, I realized that mistake. Mm-hmm. I just kept my distance, especially at the beginning. I read a few books about that topic. One's by Malcolm Gladwell, but yeah, I'm probably going to blank on the name right now. But basically, the idea is the first several months that you get to a new place, you are kind of more reserved and like maybe not expressing your more personable side. Mm-hmm. And then you can slowly, gradually, you learn who you can kind of become more relaxed around. Mm-hmm. So that was probably, I think that leadership lesson was maybe one of the biggest or most important that I've learned.
You're like, hey Bob, I know that you blew up, like the rear, part of the ship, and we're currently seeking. But I'm gonna pay you $500. Okay, it's no big. Just I'll Venmo you, and then you can pay the rest of the guys. But we are currently sinking. But don't worry, good job.
Yeah, exactly. You can't be casual of when it's a circumstance like that.
Yeah. It's like we're sinking, but you at least tried. Good job. What is a way you think we can all change the world?
That's a great question. I think if you if everyone became less self-centered
Mm-hmm.
and considered other people and their feelings, just really the golden rule: treat others how you want to be treated, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think society really right now, especially with social media and everything, everyone is so focused on themselves.
Yeah.
And they'll just, and they scroll a lot and they just see other people, and you're constantly kind of comparing yourself to other people. And I think it leads to really bad things. Ultimately, that's, I think, what, if you could, the question was how to make the world a better place. I think that's one thing that would do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, it's the season of Christmas, so spot on. I think Christmas has already passed, but still, it's the season of giving,
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like, like, I found our next opponent. His name is Rockman72. He has 3,000 followers. I have 2,999. We have to get we have to get 2 more followers, and we must do it now. It's like, just, you should be happy that you're having, competition, because it at least keeps you, going,
Absolutely.
Like you see someone higher and you want to keep going, So, because if you were the best, you're like, what do I do now? I kind of just like did everything, Like I did all the trends, I did that. It's like, what else is there to do? I have no one else to, compete with. So you should at least be lucky that, you have an opponent,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And have that positive angle of like, oh, there's someone who's he's a little bit ahead in that game. Let's see how I can, get better and compete at that level. But that's a healthy viewpoint, Leo. Really, really nice.
Yeah. When you're scared, what is something that helps you feel brave again?
Yeah. When I am scared or nervous before, for example, hopping on a podcast show, I will take a second and just sit and focus on breathing. I have a routine that I do where, it's deep belly breaths, inhale, and then slowly exhale, and kind of get yourself calm, and then remind yourself. This is a technique called priming, where you remind yourself of a time when you performed really well. And you sort of like visualize that and like try to feel those feelings and realize, hey, I performed well in that circumstance and I can do that again. And just say, yeah, I think that is probably how I cope with feeling scared. Yeah.
Yeah. I also think, hey, you're not the only person who, feels a bit, nervous on a podcast show, because like this is coming from me. Like I'll be on here and I'm like, okay, well, if I say the wrong sentence wrong, or what if I say the right sentence wrong? I'm like, well, if I missay it, well, if I mispronounce it, and I always think, it's a podcast. We can always do this, there's always a tomorrow, and no matter what happens, just go out there and just do your thing,
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the right attitude. In 10 years time, are you going to remember that one conversation you had that you didn't do that well? Like it's not, in the grand scheme of things, you need to put it in perspective and just realize, just try your best, and it's not the end of the world, right? If you mess up here and there.
Yeah. I'm actually curious, to think that, like, today we're all focused on ourselves. Like no one even thinks about anything else, you know. It's a bit weird almost. Plus, you know, it's the season of Christmas, giving, and all that, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the focus can get off of what I think it should be, especially for religious people celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ, or just and just connection with family, rather than what gifts am I going to get this year,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really true, Leo.
I guess, what advice would you give to your younger self?
That's a great question. If I could rewind the clock, I would remind myself that you actually get the most out of an experience by trying your absolute hardest at it.
Mm-hmm.
You end up having a lot more fun when you just actually put forth as much effort as you can at everything you do. I made a few mistakes. I wouldn't call them mistakes. I always was, I did pretty well in school and whatnot, but in college, I let myself kind of relax too much. I joined a fraternity, and I had a really fun time, but lost the focus I maybe had on academics. And then now, later, I'm like kicking myself because I could have really applied myself and been at the top, and instead I just did okay. And I didn't recognize that pattern of not going all out until a little later, and it kind of happened again, and I was like, okay, no more. You just have to go and commit, and that's how you get the most out of experiences.
Well, that's gonna be it for today's episode. But as always, you have the very last question because it is the best. I have to stop saying this. Everyone who watches my videos already knows I say this for all my videos. So from now on, I'm just gonna say it's the last question. Anyway, if you had to pick between chocolate or strawberry ice cream, which one would you pick?
Ooh, that is a great ender, and I would go with chocolate.
Okay, good. So, let's say if you had chosen strawberry, you would have received a very angry email from George, who's currently on mute. But we need him for his note taker here. But don't worry, you're not gonna get a virus saying chocolate only. Okay, so your PC won't get hacked. But
what's yours?
Is it chocolate? My favorite is strawberry chocolate.
Oh, a mix.
Yeah, I kind of like strawberry a bit better, so.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. You hear that, Dad? You got a follower. You got a chocolate follower. Everyone that I said that question to is he has a army of chocolate people who just love chocolate ice cream. It's like, where are the strawberry boys at? There's no one here. It's just me and the rest of the podcast people are just chocolate.
All in on chocolate.
It was nice having you here, Pete.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Leo. It was great conversation. Really insightful questions.
Yes, of course. Well, until next time, guys. Bye.
Bye.